Hi, so I thought I'd talk about what I did today. So what I did today was I went to like an AI type of boot camp. And one of the things we ended on, and I'm sorry I'm laughing a little bit, I have my dog here who is playing with his shark. As he likes the shark that he's chewing on the fin. So, and as I was talking, he walked over me to sit next to me, and now he's wagging his tail. So, but I'm going to talk about AI ethics. So there's a lot of interesting things that went on today. I missed a lot of it because I couldn't go to all of it as a 3-day event. So, but I wanted to talk about AI ethics. So we ended up hearing from an ethics professor. And there's a lot of questions around ethics. Now, I have studied, because I'm in the APA, the American Psychological Association, I have studied ethics. And I'm sorry if my camera's getting funny on you. My dog's licking me in my hand now. And so I really looked at the ethics. When it changes, I look at the ethics. Now, I'm not licensed, and I don't have to be licensed to do what I do because I'm not a counselor. I can do coaching, but I'm not a counselor. So I'm not a licensed mental health provider. Mine's workplace psychology. So, but I also am very big on ethics. And one of the things that they talked about is technology can be used for good or can be used for bad. It's all kind of in the eyes of the beholder. And how do you ethically stand with your product in a way that works for you personally? Because you can't decide what other people's ethics are. You just can't. And I think what we're really struggling with in our world is so many people have struggled with things because they don't understand terminology. So I'm going to give you an example. Like right now, I am working on an AI tool. I think it's more of a chatbot type of thing. So as I've developed this like type chatbot, one of the things that I've learned in it is what people have given me feedback on. I'm kind of concerned that this would put people in a box, or it could be misused and people will make judgments and biases on this. And I have really taken that into consideration. I know that could be a problem. I knew that could be a problem the minute I developed it. I also know in that, how can I create a video and a disclaimer? Because even though the research says this, it's not 100% accurate that everyone is going to do that. Which that means is you may have surveyed 100 people, and 98% of those people are going to say, yes, this is how this works, and maybe 2% say it isn't. So you have to understand, when you have those issues, how do you navigate? How do you navigate those things? So I know I'm getting a little technical here, but those are some of the things we talked about. And then there were some things around like kind of how do you evaluate whether your idea is good or not. And I got a little geeky on some people. I was talking about, well, how about survey design and a Likert scale? And a Likert scale basically is a 1 through 5. Which one would you do? And I'm sure people were going, what's a Likert scale? And I think I kind of, like I said, got a little over my, talking over a couple people's heads. But what it really made me think, going back to the ethics one, because I'm not into becoming a lawyer or anything like that, but I do like ethics. I just do. I like understanding how people process information. I think that ethics is important. I think we need to talk about ethics. However, I don't think we need to force ethics on other people. I do believe we need to be kind to people and be respectful to people. And I also believe that in things we need to explain what it means. And we need to show clear data so people can make a decision. Let me give you an example. If I'm going to eat and I have to choose a meal and I have pizza or I have a casserole dish, let's say it's a lasagna, if I know the calorie count, the fat count, I can make an educated decision. I'm not going to argue with the pizza saying that's not the correct calorie amount. That's not what was really happening when the research says this is what the calorie count is. And many times we've had people argue, well, that's not accurate. So this goes to my point. This is why we're struggling with propaganda. This is why we're having problems with propaganda. What news is accurate and what news isn't. And what news is biased and we all struggle with biases and stereotyping. We all do. We just all do. And what's the difference between assessment and bias and stereotyping? I was talking with a gentleman today, and I knew what country he was from, and he was doing the bob. And people have talked about that. And I'm like, yeah, I know that bob. But I was just more observing, and I was like, that's cool. Yeah, we're having the conversation. Really neat person. But what are the ethics? I've been watching a couple of people talk about people are getting their news now more from social media. People are feeling censored by social media. They feel like their stuff is being taken down and that our government doesn't want people to tell the truth. They would rather have propaganda, what they want spread. How is that ethical? But in their minds, it could be. You see where we're going through a dilemma? Some people won't use AI at all because they don't feel it's ethical. How is it ethical to use ChatGPT to write your paper? I actually had someone who did not really know about chat and said, you rely on it too heavily. Can I tell you what I use chat for? I break things down, but it's my idea, my concept. And I do a lot of meditation and a lot of work around it. And I edit it and I look at it and I work on my prompts. So my whole point in all this is, what is ethical for people? And should we be writing out what our ethics are? It was a very interesting and fascinating discussion. And that's the one I really wanted to go to today. And I'm so glad I got to watch people speak on that. Because it really boils down to, what are people speaking, needing, and wanting? And I'm going to tell one other thing. I could go into fear over the problem that I could have with my invention, my entrepreneurship, or I can address it before that happens and talk to people about how would you deal with this ethically and get people's opinion and then move with that. So on that note, I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.